In a world where secrets exist behind every royal mask, there has been one figure that the public eye has remained fixed upon for years: Anisha Rosnah, whose life has always seemed almost like that of a fairy tale from outside, wrapped in mystery. But finally, after speculation, whispers, and untold stories over many years, the wait is finally over. What is she concealing? More importantly, how has she really been managing all this while? These were the questions that haunted her for years. At 30, Anisha Rosnah finally admits what we all suspected: the woman behind the spotlight. Anisha Rosnah's story is one of love, fortitude, and reinvention, the modern tale carved with triumphs and challenges. The moment she met Prince Abdul Mateen, her life was never to remain the same, and she finally stepped into her role as royal consort. Of course, her fairy tale was not without its rainstorms. The moment she came into the limelight, everything she did was weighed and judged by the press and public alike. Even social media turned into a battlefield where, while her followers were hailing her elegance, they questioned her standing amongst them. Stronger than she could have imagined were the challenges imposed by this constant attention weighing on her strength. It was modesty and the strength of her character that turned public opinion on its head. The deeply controversial figure became deeply admired. Anisha's openness invites people into her humanness, a story that, well into the future, will continue to inspire everyone who has faced hard times and managed to come out stronger for their efforts. Today, she is more royal than ever, being true to her own self. Anisha balances her life in the ways of royalty. Her responsibilities mingled with her passion, going on to inspire others. What does the future hold for Anisha Rosnah as she begins building her life in this royal family? Let us delve into the details as this next chapter of her story unfolds. The initial contact with the love of her life, Prince Mateen. It wasn't until 2018 that the fates of Anisha Rosnah and Prince Abdul Mateen finally collided, setting off a romance that would soon amaze the world. The conditions under which they met remain a private chapter of their lives, but one thing was quite clear: their connection was immediate and deep. Their love grew in silent harmony. Both cherished their privacy among the watchful eyes of the public and the royal family. The first few interactions between Anisha and Prince Mateen exposed the shared preference that both had for finer elements in life. A love for keeping fit, which had driven them to be much into fitness, was the bedrock on which the relationship was to take shape. These early workouts, right from pre-dawn times to long overtures over health and well-being by leading an active lifestyle, were sheer fun. The coming interests laid the development and cultivating aspects of their relationship in instigating such an almost natural comrade that they had come to share. Hardly any private romance really shows in the open. Nevertheless, details of smaller nature are. An apparent view was once available in January 2023 for all. During Princess Azima's wedding, both showed up together. Undeniably, the connection had oozed onto other people who were starting to feel the closeness. For Anisha, stepping into the orbit of one of Brunei's most beloved princes was a significant transition. Prince Mateen, the fourth son of Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, had long been an international star thanks to his charisma, physical fitness, and serious effort for charity. Anisha, with her merits and elegance, proved to be the real catch. With the developing relationship, Anisha had been introduced into Prince Mateen's family. Anisha's heritage and successes seemed to have shone through for her being the sole right match of the prince in elegance and intelligence strong enough to catch his eye. The ceremony was steeped in the traditions of royalty, an air of grandeur reflecting the magnitude of the union. Heads of states, dignitaries of the world, royalties, and influential personalities attended. It was not only the union of two souls getting married, but the coming together of two cultures and histories. Dressed to impress, Anisha looked ravishing in her crimson gown matching that of Prince Mateen as the showstopper among all the present couples. But, as would later come to be seen, this marriage also had its own set of problems. From being a private individual to being one half of a public pair, there were problems involved. Of course, as was to be expected, levels of scrutiny were extreme. The world simply tore every aspect of their relationship apart. At the same time, however, it would be some kind of acid test as far as handling that new visibility with grace went. Their story stands in testimony to the strength of their bond and rough weathering of life that together they were able to bear. What were the challenges Anisha was confronted with entering the spotlight? Let's take a look into the social media scrutiny storm around her. The social media attack on Anisha Rosnah. To most, the joining of this beloved Brunei prince and the multicultural brilliant star Anisha was some sort of contemporary rendition of a fairy tale, but not everyone relished such news. Anisha went beneath the wide scrutiny of an endless number, and the world of cyberspace seemed abuzz with opinions debating her merit for such an esteemed title. Online criticism flowed from all sides. Some questioned her background, pointing to her heritage of Croatian Bruneian and whether it fit in the mold of a future royal consort. Others monitored every step she made to find flaws in her choices from professional pursuits to all public appearances. Even achievement as an entrepreneur and poise at times fell victim to relentless speculation. To such an extent, many were put off by the idea that a child of high-class upbringing was now set to wed into arguably one of the most recognized royal lineages on Earth. Every fashion choice was under scrutiny, including how she presented herself at public appearances and how active she had been on social media. While some voices were for the defense of Anisha, praising full elegance and brilliance of performances, others stirred the cauldron and fed baseless rumors. The emotional wear and tear of such constant public judgment could not but leave their mark. Yet, Anisha showed remarkable composure through the ordeal. She did not engage in any negativity but instead looked ahead at her relationship and its many responsibilities. The strength of character that was expected from her to handle such pressure and rise above undue judgment was very commendable. She started earning respect by maintaining dignity from those who had doubted her earlier. However, the attacks were not restricted to her only. The royal family, too, faced the onslaught over the issue of embracing Anisha as one of their future members within the monarchy. Even their customs and etiquette came under question, with everybody asking how they would cope with this marriage union in this modern and connected world. The family's reaction to the backlash played an important role in shaping people's perception of the relationship, and their actions or lack thereof were soon to become highly debatable. The continuous support from family and friends acted like a shield for her against all negativity. As time went on, her graciousness and not being dragged into the chaos slowly flipped the script. Slowly but surely, she transformed from a target of criticism into a figure of admiration. What role did the royal family play that caused the situation to happen? The Brunei royal family is known to be one of the most traditionalist in the world and among the most visible internationally. Hence, it was playing a dual role in Anisha Rosnah's transition into their fold. So, they supported her and Prince Mateen fully, making sure the union was celebrated with the proverbial pomp and glory of celebration. Their strident expectations, though, along with all that deep-rooted custom and tradition, had unwittingly created an environment which courier public scrutiny, adding further challenges for Anisha. In this respect, tradition and formality have established a legacy over generations with what identifies a Brunei royal and has set their role within the country. With a commitment to keep that heritage, every step happening inside the house receives phenomenal attention from the public in Brunei. No less would the announcement of Prince Mateen's relationship with Anisha, even the first patronage of Anisha from the royal family itself, be highly necessary, while provoking such unbridled curiosity. This was, to many, a signal that the monarchy was prepared to move with the times, although some critics did point out that such a consort as Anisha did not fit the more traditional mold of a royal consort. The other key factor in shielding Anisha from the storm of criticism has been the strong public support for the royal family. They have welcomed her into their fold, making sure she does not miss any important family gatherings. From accompanying Prince Mateen to public functions to being highly involved during the royal ceremonies, the involvement of Anisha has been a reflection of the surety the family has developed in her. These were acts to send out the message of unity, signifying to the world that Anisha was welcomed and embraced. An attempt that has meant mixed reactions for her, given the fact that high-profile status means any move of theirs is watched and analyzed, and more often than not, it backfires. The tight control the family, for instance, tried to exert on public narratives and media appearances gave way to speculations that they were actually hiding something. All the secrecy did was to fuel the rumors and add fodder to the debates on social media. This way, critics started looking upon all interventions from the family in an adverse light, as if everything was calculated attempts in handling Anisha's publicity image, further fueling curiosity and skepticism. Besides, expectations from the royal family of keeping the decorum and propriety going placed an extra load on Anisha herself. This, put together with poise, had to be a huge adaptation to the protocols of royal life. High standards put on her blew any perceived misstep out of proportion. It was hard not to criticize her. What's more, this person went from relatively private to one in which her every move was scrutinized by the entire world. The family traditions and the inevitable limelight of the modern world all combined to thrust upon her a complex dynamic to navigate. And yet, as an entire royal family acted in ways to generate admiration and controversy, a resolve seems to have emerged, not to abandon Anisha when she faced times of trouble. What comes across loudest and clearest from the vocal and visible expression of Prince Mateen himself is the broader family stance, a united front in her protection and upliftment. But who is Anisha Rosnah beyond the scrutiny? What shaped her into the remarkable woman the world knows today? Let's take a closer look at her story. Who is Anisha Rosnah, and early life and family? Anisha Rosnah was born on November 6, 1994, in London, United Kingdom, an extraordinary woman whose life is combined into two different yet exciting cultures. Her father, Ivica Adam Kalebic, is from Croatia, while her mother, Siti Mariam Isa, is Bruneian Malay. This parentage made Anisha grow up in a diverse cultural environment that effortlessly intertwined European and Southeast Asian heritage. She grew up in a multicultural society that helped her shape and mold her perception and persona. Anisha was born and brought up in a family of 5 siblings, duly influenced by education, creativity, and cultural exploration. She has 2 brothers, Daniel Dean Isa Kalebi and Idris Isa Kalebic, and a sister, Marina Isa Kalebic. She also has 4 half-siblings from other relationships of her father. These extended familial connections created diversity in her life and allowed her to experience a variety of perspectives and traditions. Yet, Anisha remains close to both sides of her family despite her parents getting divorced, a proof of adaptability and resilience. She had been interested in extracurricular activities since her childhood, and most of those activities reflected her creativity and love for self-expression. She was very good at horse riding, a sport that requires discipline and focus besides connecting with animals. She was also musically talented, having learned to play the piano, violin, and guitar. These activities have enriched her childhood and provided her with a well-rounded personality. If that was not enough, she had an equally impressive academic record. First, at the highly reputed Jerudong International School, churning out excellence. Later, in the United Kingdom, she attended the University of Bath for European Studies, majoring in French and Spanish. The multilinguistic proficiency underlined her intellectual curiosity to know diverse cultures. She further diversified her education by attending 1 semester at the Complutense University in Madrid, where an academic and cultural atmosphere unfolded before her eyes. She had also taken a work placement in Paris, giving her an overview of professional life. Beyond academics, the entrepreneurial streak started gleaming in Anisha. She co-founded the fashion label Silk Collective, combining fashion with cultural influences, and Authenticity, a travel company that does cultural immersion tours with travelers. These reflected her ability to connect creative pursuits with business acumen, setting her as one bright, forward-looking woman. Anisha's family background, the variety of interests and academic feats had dominated in each part of her life. Though every chapter in the little girl's life prepared something special to come later on in her life, how easily she adjusted herself among new places, facing each challenge head-on, or choosing a passion in her journey, has spoken volumes about her character and determination. But how did Anisha transform from a young woman with such a diverse background into a figure capable of facing the pressures of royal life with grace? And what role did her own voice play in reshaping public perception? Let's uncover the answers as we delve into her candid admission. Anisha's admission. In the midst of all the scrutiny and speculation, Anisha Rosnah did one of the most unexpected things. She spoke out. Surprising many, she frankly acknowledged the challenges that were faced as she transitioned into royal life, thus creating a turning point in how her public perception was built up. Living in a world where members of royal families often maintain their silence in the face of criticism, Anisha's willingness to talk about her struggles out loud resonated with people of all walks of life. She was neither dramatic nor defensive. She admitted it rather in an act of humility and awareness of her place. Anisha shared her insights into what it's really like to adjust to life as a royal consort and the main differences she had to begin with. She spoke about public expectations, the weighing between her individuality with royalty and personal growth that resulted. She did so by peeling back the onion of mystery wrapped around her life and allowed the public to see the human side of her journey. Perhaps the most striking point of her revelation was her insistence on resilience and learning. Anisha spoke about how the heavy scrutiny initially caught her by surprise, placing her in front of insecurities she'd never faced. Rather, she made them sites of growth. The story moved from the critique that she had to bear into how she toughened herself from such criticism. She was rebranding her story and at the same time helping others see their struggles in a different light. Anisha's openness also extended to the areas of misconceptions about her background and suitability for a life of royalty. She also made full use of the occasion to bring out her commitment toward Bruneian traditions while proudly having multiculturally diverse heritage. To her, that was not weakness. Neither is being in a job capable of bringing forth something new constitute weakness. Different perspective. She reminded them that there didn't necessarily have to be a conflict between tradition and modernity, an assurance which sounded just right with the young generation who saw her as an icon of progress. Her openness profoundly moved her critics. Many of those who had questioned whether she was fit for the royal family started to see her in a different light. Her authenticity and vulnerability dismantled preconceived notions, slowly reworking her narrative from one of controversy into that of admiration. To her supporters, Anisha's admission served as a character witness to further cement her standing as relatable and inspirational. What really made her admission powerful, though, was the timing. Anisha spoke out not in response to her critics but to affirm her journey. She didn't engage in the negativity that had surrounded her. Instead, she spoke to the positivity of her transformation. The deliberateness with which she did this allowed her to control the narrative on her terms, and to do so with grace and maturity. What happened to Anisha with such a torrid journey? In this last chapter, it really says about her life after the storm. How is she coping after the incident? Today, Anisha Rosnah is not just a consort to a royal. She's a beacon of survival, resilience, and metamorphosis. Since that day was one of the most traumatic moments in her life, the whole world wondered how she would cope. But it is in adversity that this strength has emerged from Anisha, and her story touches hearts all across the globe, inspiring more than just a triumph in herself. What, above all, however distinguishes her, though, was how she could take the incident of her loss on the track as one sure catalyst for change. In the years since the accident, Anisha's journey wasn't one of recovery. It was one of evolution, to fit into her new role as a royal consort with a renewed sense of determination. Far from disappearing, Anisha seemed more in view than she had ever been, advocating through the press for any number of dear causes close to her heart. She took the painful road of turning it into the purpose of charity involvement for people in various needs of sustenance and hope. Her work, ranging from supporting victims of domestic abuse to funding scholarships for youngsters coming from poorer backgrounds, turned some sort of existential bend. But it is not her philanthropy that has defined Anisha's strength. She has also become quite an astute entrepreneur in launching several successful business ventures, reflecting her unique blend of creativity, intelligence, and compassion. She built a brand that spoke not only to her royal heritage but also to modern sensibilities, as she crafted a persona. A well-choreographed blend of style and substance that is both powerful and inspiring to women the world over. Her businesses are doing great, but also serving as a tool for social change. Part of the profits support just those causes she stands up for. Above all, the resilience of Anisha comes through loud and clear. Her story becomes one of transformation, taking the darkest of situations and finding a way to rise above them to inspire others. Anisha is not just surviving, she is thriving. And in this journey, she has emerged as a role model to many, proof that true strength does not come from falling, but from rising after each fall. What do you think of Anisha's admission? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and to watch more like this, click on the video shown on your screen right now. Thanks for watching. See you on the other side.